In today's video, I want to discuss how to ultimately optimize your sales funnel while analyzing the metrics. Now, a lot of times, a lot of media buyers typically overdo it within the sales funnel. Now, it's very important that we understand where each metric lies within the sales funnel. What does that story tell us? Because all in all, there's multiple steps to get a conversion or to get a sale when it comes to paid advertising. First of all, the user has to come across your advert. The advert has to be good enough to get the user to stop scrolling when they've seen a ton on their feed already. And then when the user stops scrolling, the creative has to incentivize the user to want to click through onto the next step. So we're disrupting their day. We have to get the user to click onto and load into the landing page. The user has to scroll down all the way through the fold. They have to be convinced with urgency to want to make a purchase, and then from there they have to whip out their credit card, type in the numbers to make said purchase. So there are a lot of steps within that process that could lead to drop off. First of all, the creative couldn't be incentivizing enough to get the user to stop scrolling. That's one part of the issue. Another part of the issue could be the actual time it takes to load the page, right? If your page speed takes 15, 20 seconds, even 10 seconds, people have low attention spans in today's economy. So it's very important that we optimize to make the page speed efficient. Now, even post-click, when somebody's checking out or when they're trying to add to cart, we have to convince them to check out. So that comes in with the offer. We have to give the user a no-brainer offer who's never heard about our business, who's never heard about our brand, who's never seen our product. We have to convince them to want to test it out and buy. So that's where a no-brainer offer comes into place. Now, all of these funnels and all of these scenarios all lead into the same point. You have to have optimized creatives, you have to have a no-brainer offer, and ultimately you have to have an optimized dedicated landing page. Now, if any of these variables are not efficient, well, then you're going to see a lower conversion rate. Whereas vice versa, if we were to fix all of these variables, let's say we had really good creatives, we had a no-brainer offer, and our loading page speed for our landers were so optimal, it takes 5, 6, 7 seconds to load onto our actual lander. That is going to do more for our business as far as optimizing the entire sales funnel. So now if I were to take a step back, how do I depict this? How can I set up myself for success? Well, first things first, we need to establish a target. Before we can even optimize any ads, we need to understand what our KPIs are, our key performance indicators. We need to understand what is our MSRP, what is the cost of goods, what's the shipping and picking pack fees, what's transaction fees, what are the return rate, what are all these other metrics to then get to the gross margin. Once we understand the gross margin, then we get to our net profit. And then from there, we have our target CPA that we need to hit. For example, if we're selling a $50 MSRP price, and I know the cost of goods, it takes over 50% of that, well then I would need to see a CPA at least $15 to $10 to be at least break even in this scenario. So what the best approach time and time again is if I'm trying to optimize for pure net profit, and I'm trying to make that within the next 6 months, I want to turn first order profit for my paid media. We need to establish daily KPIs, and now we need to organize what we're testing. Time and time again, I see agencies, I see media buyers throw random creatives at the wall hoping it sticks. Whereas if I were to organize a system and I were to break it down, how can we organize our metrics? How can we understand our metrics? Troubleshooting the sales funnel typically consists of, in order to pinpoint where the bottlenecks lies, we need to understand the importance of these soft metrics. So apart from our KPIs, we understand, okay, our target CPA, if we get a conversion at $20, well, then what is our net profit tied to that, right? And if our AOV is $50, well, then I want to continue to raise our AOV. Now, apart from raising our AOV, now we need to focus on the other objectives that's going to improve the overall soft metrics of our business. Now, how do we define that? Well, I want to apply the same method or the same standpoint that a user would face if they were coming into my business and they were buying first time. So what is the step they're going to face? What are the variables that a user is going to come across from our advert? Well, I want to analyze the campaign, delivery, the budget, the amount spent, the impressions, the CPM, the reach, the frequency, the clicks, the click-through rate, the landing page, the cost per landing page view, add to cart, the cost per add to cart, initiate checkout, the cost per initiate checkout, the purchase, the cost per purchase. Then you have your AOV or your purchase conversion value and then your average order value. So this setup mimics what a user is going to first experience, right? They're going to come across the advert first. So then this is why we have the impression, CPM, reach, frequency, clicks, click-through rate. These are all soft metrics analyzing the creative. Now we can even go a step further. We can add hold rate. We can add any of these other variables that goes further to define how, like, what is a specific, how long does that user stay on the actual advert? Like, is it 15 seconds, 20 seconds, so on and so forth. And then vice versa, as we expand into the post-click and go into more actionable actions or actionable steps, as far as like actually loading onto the landing page, going into adding to cart, initiating checkout, and then making the purchase, this is what mimics the whole entire sales funnel. And as you can see here, this is what it looks like inside Meta. So while the only source of truth we care about is having a profitable CPA, CPMs, frequency, click-through rate, and CPTs have an effect at the cost for paying attention. So for example here, cheaper CPMs equals more eyes on our adverts. A click-through rate higher than 1.5% equals more eyes on our landers, and a conversion rate higher than 2% equals a dialed sales funnel. So better creative oftentimes leads to more aware buyers who are willing to convert at a profitable CPA. A lack of sales but decent soft metrics from creatives can stem from either a post-click issue or an offer issue. So before we can troubleshoot the sales funnel, we need to understand where the bottleneck lies within our business. Is it a creative issue? Is it a post-click issue? Is it an offer issue? And as I just covered the relationships, that is what happens, right? When you have optimal creatives, you're going to get cheaper CPCs, you're going to get higher click-through rates, and ultimately lower CPMs. Now, the cost to acquire attention is solely dependent on the post-click and the offer. But you have one less variable to worry about, right? When you just focus on offer and post-click, that's the only thing you need when you have dialed creatives. Now you go a step further, you make an optimal landing page. Now, one part of the equation, now you split test offers, right? So it's constantly, we're trying to reverse engineer the sales funnel. We're trying to make each variable profitable. And over time, on a long enough time horizon, you're going to see a decrease in CPA when you focus on these variables. And vice versa, when you continuously try to raise your AOV, you're going to see pure net profit on the front end. So if I were to come in as a fractional CMO for your business, I would look to ultimately organize all of these soft metrics. I want to understand where the drop-off is within the sales funnel. I would reverse engineer whether it's a creative issue, post-click issue, or offer issue, or all of these issues. I want to focus on one variable at a time, which is typically going to be offer first, then creative, then post-click. With that being said, guys, if you're tired of getting burned by ad agencies, you run a DTC brand, you're looking to get set up for an exit in the next 2 to 5 years, you can check out scalevelocity.io, where you can read my free 30-page protocol breaking down step by step how to get set up for an exit while building all of these operations in-house without having to pay a 10, 15, 20K a month retainer to agencies who don't know what they're doing. With that being said, guys, if you have any questions, drop them down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.